All right. Let's see here. Last chance for basic class questions before we get into our discussion stuff. Any at all? No. All right. With that in mind, we're going to take a look at some of the cases that I wanted you to discuss. Sophia, did you get a chance to look at any of those? Did you want to start on any particular case here, just so that if you're watching this and you didn't read the announcements ahead of time, I asked everybody to take a look at the McDonald's coffee case, the Dieselgate, as it was, the Volkswagen diesel scandal, and also Iowa State Student Org, the organization for the legalization of marijuana, versus where they sued Iowa State University and won. All right. With that in mind, let's see here. I'm going to switch this to the Zoom call so that this is where I would really like people to participate. There we go. All right. All right, we are back after that little technical difficulty. We've decided to stop switching camera views, and we are going to discuss some. Cases. We've got a few students here online. We've got an attorney online that also happens to be Sophia's mother, and we've got John. Okay, here's what I want to do. I want everybody to introduce yourself because we're starting over. Everybody that's online, introduce yourself. Okay, so John, if you would go ahead and introduce yourself, I would appreciate it.
Okay, I'm John Mordini. I am Sophia's father. I have had a construction company since 1994, and I specialize in historic preservation work.
Oh, cool stuff, man. All right, you are in a very narrow little niche there. I like that.
Yep.
Okay. You were a Connie student here at Iowa State when?
I was a Connie student from 92 to 94.
Dude, we were here at the same time.
1 and a half. And no, I did not finish my degree in 2 years.
Yeah.
I am on hiatus.
You're on hiatus. Hey, you know what? You should come back and take some of my classes.
I will.
I'm not even kidding. That would actually be awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So John, you were here at the same time I was here as a student.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So just so everyone knows, these discussions are about a topical construction topic, but there's a wide range of things that we can talk about. For example, what was your favorite bar at that time, John?
There was a bar named Tazzles, but I'm not sure.
Oh, stop it! You admit that? You admit that you went into? Oh my gosh. Okay, Sophia. So you don't know your dad? Your dad went into the dance bar.
Oh.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that is. See, I was a Hunky Dory's guy, the country bar.
Hunky Dory's. I remember the name. I don't know if I've ever been there.
Yeah. Okay. No, I understand.
I think it was more so
bar, right?
Visha.
What's that?
Visha.
Right.
Say that again, John.
I think Hunky Dory's was a country bar. I think I did go there once.
Yeah, it was a country bar. See, I went to the country bar. Your dad went to the dance bar. You know what? Yeah, those two groups did not interact a whole lot. Okay.
I should have been in the country bar. How about that?
Okay. All right. That's okay. Okay, that is awesome. All right. All right. So John's got a lot of experience in the construction world. This is going to be entertaining having someone else with some experience here. Awesome. Nikki, you want to give a little bit of an introduction to yourself?
Oh, no.
Yep. Nikki, you are on mute. Still on mute, Nikki. Hey, Nikki, you're still muted. Right.
Hi.
There we go. Awesome. Nikki, did you meet John at Tazzles? I just got to know.
I did not.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Awesome. Give me a little bit of background about yourself.
I am an immigration law attorney. I went to Drake, graduated from Drake in 2004, when Sophia was about 5 months old.
Yikes,
Before
that is
that,
impressive. If I could say that, that is impressive. As someone that's got a master's degree with kids at the same time, yikes, getting a law degree, all that. Oh my goodness.
yeah, if you're going to be poor and sleepless, you might as well do it all at
You
once.
might as well go to law school. What the heck? You had nothing else going on. All right, that's awesome. Okay, all right. So you went, you got your you got your law degree at Drake, practicing in the area
So
of immigration. Sure.
of my due the day of my family law final. So I tried to negotiate an A in the class if I were to have gone into labor during the exam.
Yeah.
But alas, she was late.
Oh, Sophia.
You're welcome.
Oh, you blew the grade on the class.
She blew my
That's
A.
bad.
Yeah.
Blew the A. All right, I tell you what, that would work on me. Somebody says, "Hey, gotta go give birth. Give me an A." I'd be like, you know what? You make a good argument. All right. Okay. All right. All right. I would love for John and Nikki. I would sure love for you guys to join in on these cases. Okay. Will, how about you next?
Hi, I'm Will. I'm a civil engineering student. I'm a senior this year, and I like going hunting a lot. I haven't been ice fishing yet, but I'd like to when it eventually freezes over.
Don't go with Ben.
No.
Yeah, don't go with Ben. Ben doesn't know what he's doing. Right? You might as well go to Tazzles and just drink. Just cut to the chase. Oh wait, Tazzles is shut down. All right. John left Iowa State. Tazzles went broke. That's what happened. That's what I heard.
Wow.
John's like, hey.
Here.
Yes. He's like, hey, I didn't realize I was signing up for this when I said I'd get on this call. All right. Okay. All right. Well, hey, thank you for joining us and putting up with this. All right. Ben, go ahead and give us a little bit of an introduction.
I'm Ben. I'm a junior in construction engineering. I'm vice president AGC. That's about it. When I was fishing today.
When ice fishing. Translation, I sit where it's cold and drink beer. And that's fine. We're not here to judge. Okay? It's cheaper there than Tazzles. We know. It's okay. All right. Let's see here. Riley, are you there? You want to join in?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm Riley. I'm a senior in Connie. Yeah.
No ice fishing?
No ice fishing for me today.
Okay. All right. And no going to Tazzles either.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, exactly. Yeah. John, these guys are too young. You know what I'm saying? All the good bars have shut down.
They haven't lived.
They haven't.
Right.
They have not. Until you've walked down those steps in the Tazzles, which I only did maybe like twice, right? Because I went to the country bar. Anyway. All right. Okay, so now that we know what the panel is, and if you're watching this podcast online, you're not going to be able to see our guests, but you're going to be able to hear them, and that's the point, is that we can have a discussion on some cases. All right. Sophia, did you have one that you wanted to start with of those three?
I did watch the lecture one, which had the Volkswagen case in it. I think.
It had the
So
Volkswagen case in it.
maybe
That'd
we
be a
could
good
start
one
with
to
that
start with.
Mhm.
That'd be a good one to start with. Okay. So if you've already watched this isn't meant to replace the discussion in class, but it is meant to be a chance for students to ask more questions and to participate a little bit. And now with some people with experience in it, on the call here, I think it'd be a good point to it'd be a good discussion point. All right. So if you've not heard of the Volkswagen lawsuit, what happened is that it came to light that Volkswagen, one of the biggest diesel manufacturers on the planet, all right, just so everyone knows, diesel emissions laws have gotten a lot more stringent over the years. Like every diesel manufacturer, I mean, we're talking Chevy, Ford, Dodge. You know, with Ford had the Power Stroke, Dodge has the Cummins, and then Chevy has the Duramax. Okay, there has been a lot more regulations with regards to particulate emissions on diesel engines, and they've been pretty tough for the manufacturers to comply with. Anybody know the problems that Ford had with diesel emissions? Anybody here drive diesels? No? All right, well, let me just give you a little bit of background. Ford used to have the old 7.3 liter Power Stroke diesel. Reliable, hard pulling, slow. You know, and with regards to emissions, most diesels, say up until the late 90s, they were very heavy on emissions, right? Lots of particulate. But they did their job and they lasted a very, very, very long time. You bought a diesel Ford or Chevy or Dodge, you expected it to last a very long time. Well, in come the new emissions, and Ford switches over to the 6 liter Power Stroke. Not awesome. Is anybody familiar with what happened with the Power Stroke or with the 6 liter conversion? You're like, if you're not a big diesel aficionado, you probably haven't heard this, but they like, and this is not something unique to Ford. I want to say Chevy had their own problems with this, and pretty sure Dodge did as well, but maybe not near as bad. But the 6 liter Power Stroke was made with an aluminum head on a cast iron body. It was prone to warping and cracking. Okay, that diesel buyers bought diesels for long life expectancy, and that did not play well. It was only after a few years they redid their engine and went to the 6.2 liter Power Stroke, which was even worse. They had even more troubles with it with regards to engine failure, and it just became, you know, and once again here, I'm going to encourage everybody to if you're following along, you know, feel free to Google some of this stuff while we're talking. But anyway, the 6.2 was a horrible failure. After only a couple of years, they came out with the 6.7. And I could be wrong. It might have been the 6.4 liter diesel, not 6.2. Chevy might be the one with the 6.2. But anyway, think like there was 3 versions of the Power Stroke diesel. The first old one, lots of particulate, long life expectancy. Second version, lots of failures, furious customer base. Newest version, third version, all told, a really big success, I think. But my point is, it took Ford multiple iterations to get to, just to get back to where they were at from the 90s in terms of reliability. And a lot of that had to do with the new diesel emission stuff. My point is that this was expensive, time-consuming, cost them a lot of clients. Volkswagen had a different way of complying with this. Okay, Ben was ice fishing today, so he probably did not watch the video on this, right, Will? Or Ben? Ben's shaking his head. Ben, you got to talk, man. Okay, they can't see you. All right.
No, I did not,
Did not.
unfortunately.
All right. Will, did you, by any chance?
Read the slides, though. They were lovely.
Read the slides. Awesome. I don't think I included this discussion in the slides, though. Okay. Did anybody, Riley, Will, did you guys watch it?
I watched the I read up on the McDonald's case, not this one.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Sophia, what did you get from the discussion today then on the video?
On the lecture, I just saw that somebody, it looks like an engineer within Volkswagen, went in and wrote an additional line of code into the cars, into the computers, that basically when the cars were being tested, they would acknowledge that they were being tested, and the emission readings would say that they were better than what they actually were.
Here. So computer programmer is like, hey, all right. So what happened was we had a programmer that figured out, hey, I can recognize when the engine is being tested, and I can switch from high efficiency to low particulate by changing the ignition sequence and changing some controls within the engine. In other words, it would operate one way on the street to get more performance that the owner wanted, and a different way when it was tested, because the EPA test is very, very specific. I'm going to run it for so many, certain speed for a certain amount of time, and this would allow the controls to sense and change the engine operation. Okay. Nikki, here, as an attorney, do you know much about this particular case? Nikki, don't forget to unmute.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are. You're on. Go ahead.
I don't know much about this particular case, but I do remember hearing about it some in the media.
Okay.
Well,
it was a big deal. It was a huge deal. Okay, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think for a number of reasons, this became a big issue, mostly because of the fraud issue and the conspiracy to defraud.
Ooh, there's some.
companies-
those are some $10 lawyer words, man. I love that. Okay, fraud, conspiracy. Ooh, how did the government? Do you know how the government took to fraud?
Yeah, they don't like that.
No,
and
no, they don't.
and
They don't.
and just like with a lot of other cases, the cover up is worse than the actual crime, and so
There. Thank you. See, this is why I love having an attorney on. Thank you for
course.
bringing your mom.
Of course.
This is awesome. Okay. All right. This is something that I bring up repeatedly in the course, and I want, as students, those going into the construction industry, I want you to hear those words clearly. The cover up and the fraud was worse than the actual crime. And what happens is courts, and the federal government for sure, but courts have no mercy for someone that is defrauding or dishonest. The basic tenets of the law, right? Did I cover that today in that lecture?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. What do you remember? Right? Do you want to? What are the basic tenets of the law?
Oh,
Do you remember?
I thought you were talking about how fraud is worse than the crime.
Oh, no. I'm talking about like what are the basic principles of law? You know, the ones where like, it was be honest. You know, complete contracts that you enter into. Don't take stuff that's yours. All
Okay,
right.
you might have.
Yeah.
I don't know if I recall that, but you might.
Okay. I mean, and those are the basic principles. That is like, hey, these are the things that we should be doing as a people. These are the things that we should be doing in business. So with that in mind, this really pissed the government off, right? Nikki, have you ever come across a case like that where, I mean, you're in family law and immigration law, so you don't have to give details of things, you know, that would violate confidentiality, but.
well, certainly there are aspects of the law and aspects of criminal procedure where defendants get to remain silent. It's a little bit different when you're dealing with a corporation and you're dealing with requirements to report and affirmative duties on the part of the companies and the industry, where they have to report certain information to the government so that they can make sure that they're in compliance. So it's a little bit different than a standard criminal case where the police come and knock on your door and then tell you you have the right to remain silent.
Right.
Because in these types of situations, you just don't.
Okay, you're right there. It's like, hey, you want to sell cars? You know, this isn't a, hey, I'm going to lock you up crime. This is like you're committing fraud and we're thinking about not letting you sell cars anymore. Do you have any idea what the judgment was against Volkswagen over this?
Several $1 billion.
Billions. All right. Volkswagen settled the scandal with the EPA and California, agreeing to pay billions. Now, I don't know if, it depends on where you look and how people calculate this, but Volkswagen spent up to around $15 billion. And here's the thing. Who was directly injured? Okay.
No one.
Yeah. Nobody was ran over. Nobody died. All right. I mean, here, you might see like a construction accident where somebody's found at fault and maybe would get a judgment for a few million. I found this shocking that we're not talking about people dying. We're not talking about even people being directly injured. The state of California argued that increased particulate emissions would kill more people over the course of years. Okay, I'm not here to argue that one. But the point is that they ended up paying out $15 billion and no one died.
There are a lot of crimes though where people you don't end up with dead victims that are
Exactly.
still.
Exactly. I mean, I just want you're exactly right. And here's the thing. All right, my theory on why they mashed down on them so hard, and don't get me wrong, I think there was other companies making diesel engines that were doing similar things. All right, but they said, we're making an example out of you, Volkswagen. How many businesses could possibly survive a $30 billion, or I'm sorry, a $15 billion outlay like that? Few in the world. You have to understand, Volkswagen is one of the largest manufacturers of engines and automotive products in the world. So I don't want to say, well, serves them right, they had the money, but I don't know, Nikki, what do you think? Does it serve them right? They had the money and they knew better?
Well, they were making money. They have the money because they were making money off of their lives.
Exactly. Okay. This is why there's no mercy. Is that they were lying to their customers, but also to the government. They had to go to great lengths to purposefully lie and cover up. And they did it for quite a while and made quite a bit of money doing it. Therefore, when the scandal comes to light, there was no mercy for them with regards to fines and liability because of the lying. And personally, I don't know. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm going to throw this out there and John, with your experience in construction and engineering, and Nikki, you as an attorney, I think they were harder on them because we're talking about engineers that knew better. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't like some interns like, oops, I'm doing this line of code and I added an extra zero to it. I am so sorry. This was a purposeful cover-up by people that knew better. And frankly, I think it's appropriate. Right, John? I don't know, John. I don't know if you wanted to add anything in there as someone that operates a construction company.
I don't have much to add on the legal side of it. I can tell you that most construction company owners are not thrilled with the new diesel emissions regulations.
Oh, exactly. Don't get me wrong. Volkswagen was doing something their customers actually liked. All right.
Yes.
I mean, the customers were like, yeah, I liked engines the way they were before all that junk on it. There's a whole underground network of people that are modifying diesel engines by ripping all that emission stuff off of them. And we've got several diesel vehicles in our family. Fortunately, they're all too old. I purposely buy diesel vehicles that are too old to have the emission stuff for this reason.
Yes, and that's why there's companies that make kits to put a 5.9 Cummins diesel from the 90s in your brand new Dodge diesel truck, because the new ones blow head gaskets and can't handle the cylinder head bolts, can't handle the pressure and the boost and all of that. And there's a whole aftermarket to bypass, right? Now, if you're a large corporation, you can afford the DEF and the regular. If you're I don't know if I can throw a name out, but if you're Macinich or somebody, you're not worried about that. It disappears.
Yeah.
If you're a small guy and you don't want to deal with the headaches of the new equipment and the tier 4 and all of that, you tend to purchase older equipment
Or
you
you delete it. You
delete it.
You delete it. Yeah. If you're watching at home, just Google diesel engine delete kit. You'll find.
I would never do that.
Of course
but,
not.
People do it.
No, of course.
I would take a 5.9 though and put it in a new diesel.
You darn right. I would too. I
because that's not illegal, right? And it's a better engine, and you can put a P pump on it, and you have a better truck. And that's just the fact.
That's just there you go. It's the facts. Don't get me wrong. But see, here's the thing though. While I totally understand their mindset, the thing is that we have, as a manufacturer that's selling stuff to the public, and as a manufacturer that has to comply with federal regulations, they knew better. And hence, the hammer from the federal government to the tune of billions. You knew better and you did it wrong. Okay? So whether I agree with it or not, and hey, and this is going to be when we do these podcasts, right? I'm going to be perfectly honest out there. I think it's important to discuss ideas with people that you disagree with, and discuss ideas that you don't agree with. And I just think that maybe that's something that's lacking today. Is that we need to be able to sit down and have a discussion on topics that maybe aren't the most comfortable or that maybe I necessarily agree with, but we still need to have these discussions. So I agree that the engines were better before this, and I still agree that Volkswagen was at fault and they should have been penalized. Anyway, all right. Okay, so anyone else want to jump in on this particular topic before we move to another one?
Fords are junk, and the 7.3 was the best they ever made. So
it was. You're not wrong. I'm a Chevy family myself, so I agree. But I will say that I think you're right. I think the older ones were better. Okay. All right. So Ben gave us that very, very technical analysis of the case and of Fords in general. Thank you, Ben.